in my circle? Who the one who be the snakes? Who gon' fold up under pressure? Who gon' understand the stakes? Who gon' wait to get their food to try to take from off my plate? Who the love? Who gon' understand I'm hurt? Who gon' love me unconditionally and try and make it work? Who gon' party once I'm gone and shed a tear once I'm in dirt? I ain't asking for too much, I'm trying to understand my worth.
Welcome to the next episode of Give Me My Crown podcast.
Give Me My Crown podcast.
And we back at you with another episode in season 3. Once again, my name is Antonio.
My name's Keith. Some call me Anson. That's my middle name.
All right, so we back at y'all with another episode. This episode, I know when we started this podcast, we kind of dove into it. We gave y'all a little introduction of our past, kind of how we came about starting the podcast, and then we went on from there into just spitting out knowledge and doing different podcasts. One thing we have not done is go into depth on ourselves as to our background, where we come from, and kind of go from there. So that's kind of what we're going to do. We're going to have an episode where I'm going to go into my background, and we're going to have a separate episode where Anson's going to go into his background and kind of just dive into each other.
Yeah. But before we do that, I know they can see. Let's talk about the hoodie you got on.
So we got new hoodies in stock. We got the black one as Anson got on. We got the white one as I got on. We can get other colors also. So if y'all want hoodies, if y'all want other colors than what we have, let us know. We can do whatever colors. We could do gray. We could do red, blue, brown, whatever colors y'all want. Let us know. We can get it. And also, we will put the link down in the comments for the website where you can purchase these. So both of these are on sale on our website at this moment. So look down in the comments, click the Etsy link, and it'll take you directly to our website, and you can go ahead and order one for yourself.
Yeah. And if you want other colors, like you're going to see, we got other colors that we're going to have on, and just let us know. Like, email us. Let us know.
Yep. Yeah. Email, as y'all know, once again, email address, givememycrownllc@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram, Give Me My Crown LLC. You can follow us on TikTok, Give Me My Crown. We're on all platforms, and we're here for y'all. So, like I said, if y'all want the ones we got, one of the ones we got on, hit up our Etsy. Y'all want a different color, hit us up and let us know.
Yeah. So let's dive into the episode. Today's episode is about Mr. Antonio Eccles. Antonio, you want to tell people how you got started, give them a little background of you growing up?
All right, so we're both from Danville, Virginia. Both went to George Washington High School. After I graduated high school, I joined the military, joined the Marine Corps. Joined the Marine Corps in 2007, did a tour to Iraq, did 6 years in the Marine Corps. And then when I came back from Iraq, me and my wife up and moved to the Charlotte area, which is where we are now. And it kind of goes from there. I'm in real estate. I own my own financial coaching business, and also work a full-time job.
So let's back up a little bit. What made you just decide to pick up and move to Charlotte?
So honestly, I was tired of Danville. When I came back from Iraq, I didn't want to live in Danville, but I didn't know where I wanted to live. At first, my initial thought was to go up north, like Northern Virginia somewhere, like near DC, but not quite DC, but somewhere up in that area. One day we came to visit. So we took like a weekend trip to Charlotte. So I was like, you know what? I said, I could see myself living here. So we then I started putting in applications and got a job down here, and obviously it won't pay nothing at the time. But after that, we literally up and moved.
Okay. So once you moved to Charlotte, I think you were in law enforcement. Did you start off in law enforcement, or did you start off doing something else?
Now, I started off doing security first, and then I started off doing security at first for about the first 2 years I was down here, and then I switched over to law enforcement.
I know you have degrees. Were you in
Yeah.
school at the time, or?
Yeah, so I actually went to school when I came back from Iraq. I actually started off going for computer science, ended up switching that. Then I got an associate's and a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. Then I got a master's in business with a concentration in finance.
Okay. Do you want to walk everybody through your because you were in the military? Did you how many tours? How long were you in the military?
So I did 6 years in the military. So it's 6 years. I was reserve. So when you're reserve or when you're active duty, either way, there's a most of the time there's an 8 year contract. Part of that is active, which means you're actively participating. The other years are inactive, which means you are not active, you're not participating, but if needed, you can get called back. So I did a 6x2, which was 6 years in the active reserve, and then I did 2 years and I did 2 years inactive. I did a tour to Iraq for about 7 months.
Okay.
Went to a couple of different places while I was in California, Texas, Kuwait, and of course, I went to a couple of different cities in Iraq,
Okay.
and then I
Okay.
got out back in 2015.
Gotcha. So you go to Iraq. I mean, you go to the military, get out, move back to Danville, then move to Charlotte, and now you are doing security. What made you want to get into law enforcement?
So honestly, I don't even know. It's because it's not like something I always wanted to do. Because there wasn't like it was a dream of mine growing up. It was just at the time I actually talked to somebody, and I was working security. Talked to an officer one night. Probably talked to him for probably about an hour, and then he was pretty much telling me about it. He was like, apply. So I was like, all right, whatever. I applied as not taking it serious. And then I got the call to come take the test, come in for an interview, things like that. And then as it kept going on, I'm like, oh, I might actually get this job. And then I eventually got hired, and that's one of the things I do now. I've been in law enforcement now for a little over 10 years. Oh, well,
Right.
actually, it'll be 11 years in April.
Okay, so in law enforcement, you're doing regular patrol, and I know you haven't been in patrol the whole time. So you want people through the transformations of like going in law enforcement.
Yeah, so I actually did patrol first, did patrol for about 3 years. Then I worked as a homicide detective for about 4 years. After homicide detective, I now work in a school as a school resource officer. So pretty much work in a high school, chill with kids, talk to kids all day. Um, yeah, just that, just like your normal, like when we was in high school, your normal officers in the school. That's what I do.
Okay, and we're gonna come back to the law enforcement, but while you were in law enforcement, you decided to pursue other things as well.
Correct.
Um, can you tell people the many hats you wear as an entrepreneur?
So got my real estate license. Fun. Me and my wife actually started a real estate class at the same time to get our real estate license. It was strictly online. It was self paced. She couldn't do the self paced thing. It's just not her style of learning. Because it's a lot of reading, a lot of just doing things on your own. You don't have an instructor, things like that. You have an instructor if you need to ask certain questions, but it's like an email. It's not like face to face questions. So I continued with that, and she went another route and went through actual live online training. So I got that. So I've had my real estate license now for going on 3 years in Charlotte and North Carolina and South Carolina. So I do work real estate in the general Charlotte area. So pretty much in Charlotte and all these surrounding counties. So do that, and I do that mainly on my off time. So like I said, I'm in law enforcement, so I get off every day about 2. So I'm doing real estate from 2 until whenever, and then I'm also doing real estate on the weekends. And aside from that, I'm also a certified financial coach. So I have my own financial coaching business, and it is called AE Financial Coaching. Essentially, what that is so you have a financial coach, then uh, you have a financial consultant, or you have a financial advisor. So I'm not advising you to. It's essentially what my job is. When you come to me, I'll say, "Hey, let's sit down. Let's look at let's look at your goals. Let's look at your budget, and let's go from there." So we'll sit down. We'll go over all your current situation. Once we get all your current situation, we then sit back and say, "Okay, what are your goals?" I have a 1 year goal, a 2 year goal, 5 year goal, and 10 year goal. So once we get them goals in place, we then take those goals and we tailor your budget to those goals. So, and then once we get your budget down pat, and then you want to start talking about investments, I then hand you off to somebody who can then work the investment side of things. And because sometimes I'll say what I do, but I would never advise anybody to what they should do, because, like I said, I'm not a financial advisor, just a financial coach. So I'll tell them what I have done and what has worked for me, what has not worked for me. And then, like I said, then I'll pass them on to somebody who can help them with their investments. I'm also a life insurance agent. So that kind of goes hand in hand with the financial coach, because everybody wants to have life insurance, whether it's whole term, or whether it's term or whole life. There's pros and cons to both. I am certified to do both, so we can do either one. But it's just like I said, once we get your whole financial goal and your whole financial plan put together, I can then tell you which one I feel will be better for you as to what you're looking for. And then obviously, aside from that, we do podcasting.
Okay, so you're like a one-stop shop. You do, like, let's say, financial coaching, and then
Yeah.
you can help me with life insurance too. So you're a one-stop shop pretty much.
Correct. That's essentially my goal. I'm actually studying now for my tax prepper certification, so I will be able to prepare taxes. And then I'm also studying to get my securities license, so I can then help with those investments.
Okay, got you.
So
Okay,
essentially,
so go ahead.
I would say essentially I want to get to the point where I can do when somebody comes to me for anything financial, I can be able to help them in any way possible. That's my goal.
Okay, all right. So we talked about the entrepreneur that you are. Let's talk about the man that you are as well, because to me, as your friend, all that go together. Because how you are as a businessman, you are as a father and a husband. So
That's
how
true.
hard is it to juggle all the business and being a father and being a husband? How does that work for you?
I mean, it's tough. It's obviously doing anything is tough. So what I try to do, so with my financial coaching, is all done virtually. So I essentially can help anybody nationwide. So that makes it a lot easier on schedules, because we can either do it by phone call, or we do by video chat. Video chat is usually the best, because then we can share screens and things like that. But that is usually the best method. With real estate, my kids and my wife actually, she's in real estate too, so she goes with me on a lot of my real estate stuff. Um, and actually, sometimes I've taken my kids, because I'll go view houses, I'll do things like that, and my kids will ride with me because they like to just ride. Well, sometimes we'll just ride out for like I'm looking at different neighborhoods. I'll just ride out, kind of get an overview of the neighborhood, what that neighborhood has to offer. So it's just a lot of real estate is a lot of riding around, and unless I have an actual client, and then I'll go. That's when I'll go start showing the houses and things like that. And depending on who, I have taken my kids with me sometimes to show a house. If it's somebody I know, or if it's somebody who, because doing real estate, you build friendships. So building those friendships, I was helping a client, or I was helping a client last year, and just met them out of nowhere, or they was actually introduced to me by somebody else, and end up showing them properties, end up helping them buy a property, And when I would show them properties, like, hey, can you bring the girls? We want to see the girls. We miss the girls. So I'm like, yeah. So it's kind of turned from just a client agent relationship to an actual built or turned more into a friendship.
Okay.
So I'm doing that. So they're with me, like I said, most of the time doing that. Um, my one daughter, who's not the shy one, will actually do videos with me. I actually got a video on my TikTok. She did a video with me, a real estate video. So it's just a lot of that. And I try to kind of incorporate them in with certain stuff, so they see how it. So they kind of see how things are run, so they can see that there's not only one avenue to do things. There's multiple
Gotcha.
avenues to do stuff, and then there's not only one way to do something.
Okay. Okay. And what about the husband aspect? I know personally that y'all help each other. So, like, how does that work?
So it makes it a lot easier because with certain stuff that I'm not good at, she then picks up the slack. So and vice versa. So I'm real, like I said, I'm real good with the numbers, real good with budget, stuff like that. So I handle that side of stuff. When it comes to my Instagram, my Facebook, TikTok, things like that, I'm not as good with that stuff. So I actually recently just told her, I said, hey, take over this. So she's actually going to take over that. She's actually going to take over our Etsy. But obviously her shop's been booming. So
Yes.
so she's gonna take over that for us, and it's just like I said, we kind of play off each other, so it makes it a lot easier, it makes things a lot less stressful, and whatever I decide to do, she always backs me. So and vice versa, I do the same with her, so it makes it easier, and like I said, it makes it a lot less stressful, knowing that hey, whatever I'm ready to do, like she's got my back.
Yeah. Yeah. I finna say, like, I know she helped us a lot with coming up with titles for the podcast. So
Yes.
she's very helpful. So creativity, man. I know a lot of times, like, hey, the white hoodie. I gotta give you your props on that. That was all you on the white hoodie. Where's your creativity come from?
So my wife is actually like I said, she makes wreaths. She makes them from scratch.
Yeah.
So a lot of the creativity is her idea. The white hoodie, I just seen. I was working on our black hoodies, and I seen. I said some white hoodies might be nice too. So I went ahead and ordered one. Then I got it. I'm like, yeah, that was a good look. So most of the creativity comes from her. That's why, like I said, I gave her the reins to take over our Instagram, or our our Etsy shop, cause and our Instagram stuff like that, because like I said, she she has her Etsy shop tailored a certain way because she took training on it. So she has her Etsy shop tailored a certain way where she's able to get more views, get more buys, get more visits to her website, things like that. So like I said, that creativity part really is going to her.
Okay. So what's next, Tonya?
I don't know. So obviously, I'm trying to get into. Obviously, we talked about this. I'm trying to get into day trading and also into real estate. So my goal this year is to get into real estate, buy a few investment properties, and start day trading within the next couple of weeks, hopefully. Still doing all my research, because before I jump into anything, I like to do my research, make sure that I know what I'm doing before I get into it. So that's my next step, and then just as we continue to build this podcast, do that, continue to build it, continue to build our brand, and then also want to continue to build my financial coaching business, because there's a lot of people, especially in our community, that are not financially literate. So I think financial literacy is important, which is why I'm doing a special this month, where doing a special this month. It's free sessions throughout the month of January, because I think that will allow me to show people how I can help them. Because some people just say, "Oh, a financial coach, I don't need that." Because I thought the same thing when I was young. When I was 18, I didn't need a financial. I said I don't need a financial coach. And I actually got a financial coach, and it completely changed my life. So it made me completely change my finances around. So that's my whole goal behind behind my financial coaching business is to, in turn, help other people how I was helped.
Okay, with your financial literacy, how you are so passionate about, right? People being financially literate. Does that come from like how you were raised, as far as people not be seeing people around you not have like the financial mindset, or is that just in you?
No, it's kind of both because growing up, most of our parents had two jobs. Um, they had two jobs. They were always working. They tell you, like you weren't growing up. You weren't an entrepreneur. You saved what little you could. You didn't do investments, things like that. So I looked at that and said, I want to bring my kids up, and I want my kids to be financially free by the time they get out of college. And by me being financially free, hopefully I can instill that into them. So like you said, growing up like that, you see, because obviously we always had what we needed, but I want to get to that point where um, I want my kids to not want for anything. I want my kids to not have to borrow money to go to college. I want my kids to not have to pay for their first car. It's just the little stuff that we didn't have growing up that I feel like would make their life easier, so they can in turn focus on what they want to do. Because one of my daughters wants to be a vet, the other one wants to be a doctor, and they've stuck with that the whole time. So I want them to be able to focus on that rather than having to focus on having to go here for a job, then study for school, then having to pay for a car, then pay for this, pay for that. I want them to be able to 100% focus on their education. So, like I said, by me being financial literate, I can hopefully instill that into them, so they can then, like I said, once they finish college, they kind of take notes and say, hey, this is how we grew up. We grew up like this. We always had what we wanted. We always had what we needed. Money was saved. Money was invested. We went on trips, things like that. I want to instill that into them.
Okay. And what's your goals for 2024?
So, like I said, blow my financial coaching business up. So I want to expand that. I also want to, like I said, purchase some properties. Um, Besides that, is really just keep grinding. We want to continue to grow our podcast and grow our brand. So I want to grow our podcast I want to I want to knock it out the park. So because I feel like we give a lot of good knowledge, and I feel like it's needed. So I feel like we give a lot of good knowledge, and then we have a lot of people on here who give good knowledge and who's able to just tell their story. So I think that's important. And other than that, just keep growing as a husband and as a father.
Okay. All right. Tell the people what's one of your favorite books that you read.
Oh, one of my favorite books would have to, because it was so eye opening, was The Creature from Jekyll Island.
Okay. All right. All right. So
And
another question. No, go ahead. Go
yeah.
ahead.
Now, I was gonna say
Are
we
you
did a whole podcast on The Creature from Jekyll Island. So if y'all want to know what the book was about, go back and watch that podcast. We dropped a lot of knowledge on that podcast.
um is there any events you want to go to in 2024, like for self betterment or for improvement or anything like that?
Yeah, I want to go to InvestFest again. Obviously, we went to InvestFest back last year, and like I say, it's the must see experience. So I want to definitely do that again this year. Obviously, we're going to Vegas in a couple of months, so I want to. While in Vegas, I want to network with because obviously everybody from the world comes to Vegas. So I want to network and be able to expand my network while in Vegas, so then I can expand my financial coaching business, and we can expand this podcast.
Yeah.
And other than that, I would like to see Eric. I have not seen Eric Thomas or Jeremy Anderson in person. I would like to see them. Um, And other than that, just any other conferences that will either better me as a man or better me as an entrepreneur, I would like to attend.
Okay. Funny fact about that, I'm thinking about going to see Eric Thomas this weekend. Just this weekend coming up.
Yeah, I thought
thinking about it. I didn't say I was going. Thinking about it. He's gonna be in Atlanta.
I know. I thought about it. And I seen it too. I just seen it the other day, and those tickets are ridiculous. So
look, man, I'm thinking about going, man. I'm sorry.
I thought about it.
Everybody that's gonna be there.
I know. It would be a very good conference to go to. If it won't right after Christmas and I won't saving up to go on some vacations this year, I would definitely go if I had. Because like I said, I found out about it a week and a half before the event. So if I would have found out about it a month ago, I could have planned for it. Because you know me, I'm budget conscious. So I'm like, nah, I already did my budget for this month. That ain't gonna work.
Yeah, and it's seven-figure conference, man. I was like, yo, this sounds like somebody need to be at. But I think we gave the people enough about you, man, and we'll continue to dive more into you. Is there anything else you want the people to know about you before we end the podcast?
No, I think that's it. I mean, at the end of the day, I just want to see everybody win. That's my goal. My goal is that's what my whole entrepreneurship is based around, everybody winning. Financial coaching, I want to see people winning in their finances. Financial coaching can then play a role into real estate, because to buy real estate, you have to have your finances in order. So I want to help people buy that first house. This podcast, we want to spread the knowledge we have. So hopefully somebody sees it and say, okay, well, that's it. So just that, I want to continue to help people, continue to better people's lives, and just continue to, like I said, be a better father, husband, and friend.
Okay, so that's the last question I got. Let's say you get to your end goal, where you want to be at. Is there a giving back process to the community involved at the end, or is it like, listen, I'm gonna get to the top and I'm gonna stay there? What's your end goal for everything?
Nah, so for me, there's never really an end goal, because I feel like I'm always gonna want to progress more, but I do want to get to a point where I'm financially free and financially stable, where I'm then able to spread that wealth to outside my family. Because obviously I want my family to be, I want to build that generational wealth for my family, but I want to spread that so my, back to the community, to people who are less fortunate, things like that. So then we can hopefully turn a tide, and then, even if we could change one person's life, 2, 3, 4, 100, whatever. But yeah, once I get to a point where I'm financially stable and financially free, I want to reach back and help other people.
Love it, man. I love it. So I think we gave the people enough. I'm gonna let you say it, because you always start off at the end.
As we always say at the end of every podcast, this is more than a podcast. We handing out crowns.
Hand them out.
Hand them out.
Who the lover, who the hate? Who the realest in my circle? Who the one who be the snakes? Who gon' fold up under pressure? Who gon' understand the stakes? Who gon' wait to get they food to try to take from off my plate? Who the love? Who gon' understand I'm hurt? Who gon' love me unconditionally and try and make it work? Who gon' party once I'm gone and shed a tear once I'm in dirt? I ain't asking for too much, I'm trying to understand my